Today, I'll show you how to put casing and trim around the window. To start off with, I just want to show you what the window looks like. So if you look up close in the corner, we have the part of the window that opens, the frame of the window. Then the window is set in this frame. There's what looks like glue. I caulked the holes so that way the ants don't come through. Also, there was some draft. So we've had a problem with ants in here. I'm just trying to fill up all the cracks. When I did the baseboards, I also tried to fill in the cracks. So next, I'll tell you a little bit about the material. You may have noticed that that window is in a bathroom. If you go to Home Depot, you could get specially graded material that is bathroom friendly, and that's this material that I was showing you. What's a benefit about this, at least in my location of Home Depot, is that not only is it primed, it's also been painted, and it's lighter and flexible. It feels a little bit plasticky. Makes it easier to work with. As you're gonna see, ideally you would snap the planks into place. So having that little bit of flexibility in the material makes it easier to just get the right size and in the right location. The first type of material is called a quarter round. It's this. It is flat on two sides and round on a quarter. There's only three sides. It will go in the ledge of the window frame on all four sides. So we'll have it on the top, on the side, on the bottom, and so forth around there. The other piece that we'll be adding today is this piece. And I'll be putting it around all four parts also. The next step is to take a measuring tape and just measure the window. It ends up that the outside dimension of the small piece will be the inside dimension of the large piece, and I'll show you what I mean. So here's a drawing of the window. Make sure that you make your own drawing of your window. A is the horizontal piece that goes on the bottom that's really skinny, and B is the horizontal piece that is thicker. All of the cuts will be done at a 45-degree angle. So what that means is that the smallest point, B, will be equal to the largest point of A. So the outside dimension of A is going to be equal to the inside dimension of B, which means I only have to take measurements once for each side. And it's tempting to think that this will be the same length as this, but you really should check because you don't know until you measure it. Luckily for my windows, they are the same on the top and the bottom, and the two sides are the same. So I have one measurement of 35 inches and 3/4 and another one of 35.5 inches multiplied by 2. I'm going to cut a little bit larger than that, probably 2 blades worth larger, because, well, I'm not always 100% sure that I've measured things properly. And I'd rather err on the larger end and just cut again. Next, I'm going to show you the right way and the wrong way to cut the angles. Here is what we do want. In this example, we have because it's a round, it looks like it's not a 45-degree angle. It looks like it's being cut in, and that's the correct way it will look. This way, it looks like it's being cut out, and that will not match up. So you want your piece to be like this. To do that, you're going to have your flat side here and another flat side there. And that's how you need to hold the piece or put the piece down in order to know if you cut it correctly. Sometimes as I'm cutting, I get it mixed up which way I need to put the blade in order to get the right type of angle. Even though it's both 45, like which way do I need to put the piece? So what I did was I created a template to guide me. And I really recommend that you do the same, because even though you could keep your blades, or you keep all your setup the same 100% of the time just by flipping over the piece, turning things over, you know, it gets confusing. And the reason why it's so confusing is because this is a quarter piece, but it only has 3 sides. So it's not so easy to turn around. Plus, although this piece is 5/8 by 5/8, some of the rounds are not all the way around, they're more oval, which makes it harder, and you definitely want to set up a template. So you don't have to cut the way that I'm cutting, but make sure that you have something to help you, guide you as a reference. Saves you a lot of time. I wish I had done that the first time around, but I learned the hard way. So here's my template. I wrote on the flat parts only because the flat parts will not be visible to other people. This flat part is going to be towards me on the saw. This part here is the round, and on the bottom, again, it's flat. So I mark it. This is my reference point. When I set up my next pieces, I'm going to make sure that I have the round part away from me and a flat part towards me and on the bottom. The next thing that I did was on it, I wrote which way I need to have the blade for each cut. So here it says left, and here it says right. So what this means for me is that right now, with the way the blade is set up, it's at a 45-degree angle, and it's turned to the right. So that's going to get me this right cut, and I even drew a little picture to tell me out. So the blade needs to go in this direction for this cut, for this side, like that. And then when it comes time to cut this side, well, I'm gonna move my blade over to the other 45-degree mark on my left. If you don't have the option of turning your saw that much, there's other ways to cut it, but what's important again is that you find your own way. So I'm about ready to cut this skinny piece. The first thing that I'm gonna do is take off this end piece so that I could have the right type of cut before I measure. And always put on your safety glasses. It's not worth going to the emergency room. You don't have time for that. You have a job to do, right? I've cut a couple of pieces so far. I wrote the dimensions on it so I don't get the pieces mixed up. Before I cut more, I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. I'm gonna insert this piece into the corner. Ideally, it will snap, meaning it's just the right fit. Well, it snapped into that corner, and then we'll see if it snaps to the other. So I inserted my first skinny piece. It's here. The piece is slightly bowed because the piece is a little bit too large for this spot. But for right now, I'm gonna keep it like this because I might want that extra tension, and I could always make it smaller later. Then for the piece on the side, it seems to be fitting just fine. So after just a couple of shaving off the ends, the pieces fit. You'll see that right now this piece is sagging, but that's because there's no nails in it yet. And the sides I put one nail, here we go, one nail just to hold it in place to make sure everything does fit. So now that everything does fit, I'll go ahead and I'll add some more nails. I did a rough cut of this long piece. I'm testing it out, and I want the corners to match. So when these corners match, I see that this piece is just a bit too long. So I marked with the pencil where my next cut needs to be, so we'll line up. So I just finished using the nail gun. I'll still have to fill in the holes and add some putty to make it smooth. But this is the main design in the So the pieces have mostly fit together. There's some areas that definitely could use some putty and the nails are showing. But that's enough for one day. Thank you for watching my first home improvement video.